Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ellisya Putri. I made this video to fulfill the task of Sociology of Education, and I got the material from the Sociology of Education, a systematic analysis book from Jane and Friends. Page is 198 until 227. Let's see our presentation. My topic is the school as an organization. Let's start it. Okay, the first I will explain about the social system of the school. According to the functionalist approach, the school system is composed of many distinct subsystems of parts, each with goals. Together, these parts make up the functioning whole. Maybe you can see the picture 1. If one of these parts experiences problems or breakdown or does not carry out its functions, so other independent parts are affected. The first is School Research Office. Here a member of the school staff, usually the secretary, greets us and ascertains our business. The office and its staff act as buffers to protect the rest of the school from interruption of routine. Second is classroom. Classroom take up most the physical structure of the school. Within the classroom, teacher and student are the main occupants. However, the order of the classroom, including seating, agreement, arrangement, work group, location, style of leadership, class size, and types of student affect the relationship between position holders and the consequent role they play. The third is support service are necessary for a classroom to function. Standard service include food and emergency health service. In addition, most schools have personnel and facilities for counseling, technology, special service such as psychological testing or tutoring, bus service, and library service. Second slide, I will explain about goals of the school system. The first is societal, community, and educators' goals. According to Emil Durkheim, the social organization of the school classroom that fosters the moral habit that keep societies together. Educators debate goals for school curriculum, structure, outcomes, and even what values and morals should be taught. And then, for the community and families, goals for school including formalizing and structuring socialization experiences, facilitating peer interaction, helping meet family goals for successful children, and giving children more options in the competitive marketplace, and producing young people who will fit into the community. After societal, community, and educators' goals, second is school goals. By 1918, the National Education Association Commission on the Reorganization of Secondary Education recommended that secondary education should develop in each individual the knowledge, interests, ideals, habit, and power whereby he will find his place and use that place to shape both himself and society toward ever nobler ends. The high school district invasion was not limited to the college preparation of few youth, but the comprehensive education of all a community's youth, no matter what path their future might take. The third is individual goals. Those who hold roles in school are also likely to have different goals. Goals of parents including providing opportunities for their children to get ahead or occupying their children during a part of the day. And administrator and teacher desire high quality education, but they also have personal goals such as the need for money, prestige, and satisfying work. Next, I will explain about the school as a bureaucracy. The first is division of labor, recruitment and promotion policies. Teacher and administrative officers have their respective duties both at school and at home. Because each of them has done their work routinely, they are experts in their fields. And second, hierarchical system of authority. Hierarchical of school is school board, superintendent, principal, teacher, staff, and student. Each of those levels has different duties and responsibilities. By itself has different lines to communication. Third is rules, regulation, and procedure. Each school has its own rules. The provisions of this profession are socialized with regulation. These rules are printed in such a way and posted on a notice board so that they can be read in any time. And the teacher even posts them in the teacher handbook so they can alert students who break the rules. And four, holders of similar position being treated the same. If someone holds a certain position in bureaucratic organization, if there is neglect of one rule, it will cause problems in organization. Therefore, the relationship that occur in school must be neutral, meaning that there is mutual understanding between students and teachers to understand each other, interact, and others. And the last is rationality of the organization. The tendency of organization administration is to try and find the most efficient tools in order to produce a function. Likewise with school, namely trying to achieve such efficiently level. Next is problematic in educational bureaucracy. The first is prioritizing test score rather than knowledge. Youth involvement makes test score rather than in-depth knowledge of a student's family background, problem motivation, abilities, and other personal characteristics the major criteria for screening and placement of students, and thus the determinant of his or her future. And second, impersonal relationship. Because relationships are expected to be impersonal, students, particularly the disadvantaged, cannot receive the counseling and support of the exposure to acceptable role models from whom they need to develop a positive self-image. And the third, difficult to circumvent problems. Official rules tend to over-control the behavior of school personnel and are difficult to circumvent when problems arise. And the fourth, apathetic. Teacher and student often feel powerless to change school conditions and so become apathetic about solving problems. And the last, the performance of teacher and administration are not optimal. Teacher and particularly administrator can develop bureaucracy, becoming insecure, overly protective of their jobs, narrowly specialized, less concerned with teaching, and inflexible in their daily behavior. Centralization is centralizing all the authorities to a small number of managers or who are at the top of an organization structure. Centralization was widely used in the old government in Indonesia before regional autonomy. The weakness of a centralized system is where all decisions and policies in the regions are produced by people who are at the center of the government, so that the time need to decide something becomes long. The advantage of this system is decisions and policies are fully coordinated by the central government. So, central government does not have to worry about problems arising from decision-making decisions. And next is decentralization is often referred to as site-based management. Decentralization is the delegation of authority in making decisions and policies to managers or people who are at lower levels in an organization structure. Give local schools more responsibility for school operation. Educational reform. The idea involves shifting an initiative in public education from school boards, superintendents, and central administrative office to individual school. And then the weakness of the centralization system is many decision makers loud decentralization. Others point out problems such as lack of clear parameters and standards for operation, and then lack of training for being autonomous, lack of central administrative control over accountability standards, and power issues that hamper decision making. The advantage of a decentralization system is at this time many companies or organizations are choosing and implementing a decentralized system because can improve and increase the effectiveness and productivity of an organization. Reform of school organization. There is no shortage of suggestions for improving school. One of those suggestions urged education leaders to consider developing more small school or school within school. Several questions appear such as small school and classroom, are they better for student achievement? This is question for us about small school. Another question like, do students become better citizens, learn more, care more about learning when they attend small school? And the third question is, are there disadvantages to small school? The answer to all the questions above are in small class advantage. In small class advantage, any three condiments. The first is students tend to have higher academics, are more personal, have higher student and teacher satisfaction and morale, lower dropout rates and behavior problems, and have more students involved in extracurricular activities. And then, small schools are safer, have a greater communication and performance, feedback, and have more individuals involved in decision making. The success of the small class is caused by several factors, and the three factors about a small school. The first is greater interaction between teachers and students. And second success factor is enthusiastic and well-trained teacher. And the last success factor is classroom management and discipline tackles time and energy. And then explain about reform of school organization. Many large high schools have been closed and multiple small high schools have been opened in their building. Often termed campus, these new educational organizations share facilities such as cafeterias, gym, science labs, until library. The condition that must be implemented for the creator of the school are design school with strong curricula and major focus on student. And the second is reduce the degree to which high school were anonymous and alienating to many youth was a central goal. And the last of reform of school organization is output from small school. Any three output from small school. The first is small school are more effective than older and large secondary school. And second, small school produce outstanding students. And the third is dropout rates and graduation rates were significantly better than large secondary school. Next, I explain about charter school. These are a rapidly expanding group of schools, publicly funded but independent of most local school district authority, with their own boards of trustees and relative autonomy. The originating idea was that they were free to innovate and experiment. Some have developed original structure and process, but in many cases they duplicate other district public schools. Some have excellent record of achievement among the students, but others are no more successful than their neighbor district public school. Next is how to support for school improvement. The first is coherent instructional guidance system. Help for teacher in the form of the instructional guidance in teaching, feedback mechanism to help assess effectiveness of teaching, and materials, tools, and instructional routines shared by faculty to support their efforts. And second, professional capacity, the quality of teacher, professional development to support them, and teachers working together to improve instruction. These involve performance feedback and cooperation to solve problems. The third is strong parents, community, school ties. Student motivation and participation reflect the strength of parent and community ties with school. Fourth, student-centered learning climate. Teachers, administration, and staff in school influence the learning climate in school and set the tone for students to see themselves as learners. A safe environment is basic to learning, as is belief in student abilities and support for each student needs. And the last, leadership drive change. Principals in successful and improving schools serve as dynamic leaders. They involve the local community, hire and develop effective staff.